What's up, board game people? It's time to get caught up. We have some huge stories to talk about, even bigger games hitting crowdfunding this week, and so much more in store for you. This should get me caught up completely on the news again, and just in time because there's some awesome videos coming this week. I'm burning the midnight oil on this one, and I'm in rare form, so you've been warned. Before we start, thank you to all my Patreons, both new and old. You guys are helping me to get new equipment and really start taking this channel to the next level. I'm so appreciative of every dollar of support. It all helps more than you can know. Ready your wallets and your self-control, because here we go. Live on crowdfunding now, we have Aeon Trespass Odyssey's reprint and the 12 Sins of Herakles. This campaign has exploded in Avian Drama's side. It's rocketed to more than $2.6 million with 8 days remaining. All 4 seasons of Sins of Herakles are available in the campaign, and there are more add-ons, expansions, stretch goals, daily reveals, and campaign goals than you can shake a stick at. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of hours of content here. I love it. Want to spend more money? Monster Hunter World Iceborne has only days left, maybe only hours remaining. Early in the campaign, they threatened us with 5 expansion add-ons for the game, and Steamforged Games makes good on their threats. The number of boxes is blown up and there are more monsters included than you can shake a stick at. All that's left for them to reveal is the all-in price. Oh, my poor wallet and my self-respect. Still, not backing Leviathan Wilds? Well, if the mood strikes you, there are 2 days remaining to jump aboard. The stretch goals on this one just keep rolling, and the quality level is great on such a compact game. Need more video game board games? Check out Apex Legends by Glass Cannon Unplugged. They've been listening to backers and have shifted components around to create a gamer's pledge that drops some of the fluff and aims to include more options for the game itself. There's still 10 days left on the clock and only 10 competitors remaining. Drop hot. Dead Cells has been tearing it up and has passed the $750,000 mark and is climbing quickly. There are 3 days remaining and several more daily reveals still to go. I must say the collectible figure looks quite nice for this one. Finally, over on GameFound we have Detective City of Angels, Saints and Sinners with only a few days left. This is a great time to pick up any of the expansions you may have missed in addition to grabbing a few new cases. So, I wish I could say that the worst is over for your May budget, but it isn't. Coming to crowdfunding this week, we have Into the Godsgrave, the latest app-supported co-op game from Lucky Duck Games. Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venus' new Apocalypse expansion, which adds in a whole new jungle-based location, open-world mechanics between memories, and a whole lot more. And finally, Stadium No Exit, which looks to be an interesting RPG in a box that I can't wait to get a closer look at. All in all, this is going to be a wild week and we'll send May out with a bang. Now just wait for June. But first, some news. Divinus has begun. Production, that is. The digital samples of the core box has been received. As they point out, it isn't virtual. Digital samples are created using digital printers, and not the actual manufacturing printers that are used to create games. The resolution is usually a little bit lower on digital printers, and the colors might not be a perfect match. They're used as a final checkpoint before they go through the costly step of setting up the actual manufacturing printers for production. They're also showing off the white box prototype for the new Chest of Plenty, which is now Calyx friendly. They should have more digital samples coming in the next few weeks, and if all goes well, they'll be able to approve them for production. The Witcher is closer than you think. He's in your bushes. He's outside your house. He's relaxing in your hot tub and eating a sandwich in your kitchen. Really though, The Witcher Old World is likely in the hands of a postman near you and drawing closer every day. Many people have already started to receive theirs. In Canada, shipping started on the 5th. In the US and Asia, it started on the 15th. In Australia, it will start around the 28th. In the EU, shipping starts between Poland on the 24th and the UK on the 7th of June. The second wave of production is also full steam ahead, and hopefully we have a more solid end date for that run soon. The update goes over several different setups for the game with a handy guide on how much space you'll need for each. While there's a lot here, the table size needed is modest. This week's update from Batman Escape from Arkham Asylum is giving us a glance at the process of how they're splitting miniatures for production. Not much else is said other than that the minis will come assembled, and they're continuing to work on the semi-co-op mode. So now for some not so great to hear news. Steamforged Games has laid off 1/3 or nearly 20 of their staff during a restructuring of the company. While at first it might seem worrisome, in today's age of being able to practically run a Deadpool for crowdfunded board gaming companies, This seems to have been coming for a bit, and is likely just a lightening of their budgets. They've appointed Crystal Kennedy as the head of marketing to help further grow their brand and community. They also just announced a partnership with Kickstarter that will see their next 4 games being exclusively offered through the Kickstarter platform. The first of these games is reportedly Monster Hunter World Iceborne. My thoughts and prayers go out to all those employees that were let go. Hopefully you'll find a new place to land soon. Some great news has come out of the Company of Heroes 2nd Edition project. They've been able to lower the shipping costs across the board. If your shipping went down and you've already paid, you can put your name on a spreadsheet linked in the update and they'll cancel your order so you can take advantage of the lower shipping. This week, they're sharing the very modular Terrain Pack 3 that gives you tons of options for an industrial factory-like building or buildings. It's all about location for the latest Dark Venture update. Much progress has been made since the last update, and they're testing and finalizing new additions to the core rules and creating new locations. A new work in progress rulebook has been linked in the update, and they're showing off a few of the new location arts for the Crawl expansion. The core game and Vile Invaders expansion only have a final proofreading pass needed. Crag Pit tokens and cards are complete, and it needs a final rule and proofing pass. The Alder King and Beasts and Monsters expansion have had significant progress this month, with token and card sheets laid out, and they're now content complete. The soundtrack with the bonus location is ready for prototyping. The Crawl expansion is mostly art complete, and the character and item cards sit around 60% done for it. So a good deal of progress and a bit more to go. Wash samples for Skyrise have finally been approved. They spent a long time on this process and the results are pretty good. In my opinion, the wash leaves the buildings looking a tad bit dirty for my taste, as they're supposed to be newly built in this cloud-bound metropolis, but the effect works to bring out the details and keep them from looking like fresh hunks of plastic. The updated timeline for the project shows the PM closing on the 30th of May, freight starting in October, and fulfillment happening between January and February of next year. In other not-so-fun news, Grimlord Games, creators of the Ever Rain and the yet unfulfilled Village Attacks, has shut their doors. In a heartless, tone-deaf announcement, they basically said that they did their best and they're done. Meanwhile, they continue to ask for $50,000 in back pay during their insolvency. And the Necklace Silent partner has already created a new company, Artifact Games, and is already running yet another campaign for Dice Tomes. These two are a plague on our hobby. They're doing their best to live off your dime and deliver as little as possible. I feel for the thousands who've been duped by this pair, and all I can say is watch out for these two in the future. And now I'll take a deep breath. Sorry about that. This is the absolute last call for Teburu and the Bad Karmas pledges to be finished out. They're heading to production next week and will be submitting final orders. They will only produce enough copies to fulfill the confirmed orders in the first batch. We get a look at a few of the massive molds for the miniatures, and these things are beefy. They'll be showing off the Bad Karmas and a prototype for Vampire the Masquerade Milan Uprising at Modena Play. Speaking of VTM Milan Uprising, it'll be launching on GameFound on July 25th. Arydia, the Pass We Dare Tread, is now accepting playtesters to get more hands on the game and to help work out the final wrinkles. With the funding of the Omni 3D printable modular display case successful, they're ramping into high gear to get the files ready for release. They will be releasing everything all at once in 30 days. You'll get the core files, the stretch goals, and a few bonuses. They also have some handy reference documents and a place to get pre-cut acrylics in the US linked in the update. Primal the Awakening has pushed out a new update, and things are moving into their final stages with everything in testing or final proofing. Translations seem to be humming along nicely, and they look to be ready to submit files by the end of June. Final shipping will be inserted into the Pledge Manager in August. In September, they will charge for shipping and any add-ons that you've added. Specific dates will be announced closer to time. The TTS demo should become available between the end of June and the first half of July. Perhaps I should set something up for my Patreons. We could try it out. Let me know if you're interested. This update gives a deep dive into gameplay for the player-voted monster, the Ozu. This giant battle beetle utilizes special rumble cards to sling lightning at sections of the battlefield. Ozu doesn't fight alone either. He brings his whole swarm to play, and to defeat him, you must first deal with them. Dodge and discard-proof decks will be of the utmost importance in this fight. Keep the surge and overcharge damage buffs off the boss and you might just stand a chance. Waste Knights Beyond the Horizon has finally broken their long silence to give us a production update. The shipment from China containing the playmats and plastics should be docking now in Poland, where the games will be assembled. Playmats will begin fulfillment as soon as they are unloaded, so make sure your addresses are correct. Printed materials are in the final steps of development. They're working on getting the layouts for the last 2 adventures, and they lack 4 to 5 illustrations for the weather expansion. The largest remaining task is the sandbox solo mode adventure Great Chase that should be finished around the end of May and entering testing. They should be sending Polish copies of the text in sections to translators soon. They're aiming to update us in the next 2 weeks about the playmats and the final rulebook. Sadly, there really is no way around it. This project is looking to deliver a year late at least. Right now I estimate December or January delivery, and that's just conjecture. CTG and GameFound seem to be having a bit of a time getting the promised free items added to the pledges in the Elder Scrolls Betrayal the Second Era Pledge Manager. They're working on the issues and should have them applied in a week or so. Arkeis, which I probably just butchered the name of, after a 3-year delay, is finally on its way to backers. First, I have to say that I'm sorry I missed this one. It looks like an amazing game, and I know my wife would love the Egyptian theme. This one's going on the wish list. The game is on ships and heading towards hubs. Make sure you update your address if you need to. Changes can only be made until the 31st. CMON has announced and sent straight to pre-order a Metal Gear Solid board game. It's an interesting choice to head straight to pre-order, but it may be due to licensing or IP restrictions. This will be available via retail, but there's a pre-order only Integral Edition that includes an exclusive 109-page graphic novel and a giant Metal Gear Rex mini. The game focuses on the original Metal Gear Solid story and includes a 14-mission campaign. Mythic Games has received enough ransom payments to move forward with the Six Siege production, so a little good news from them, if it can be called that. The pledge manager for Street Fighter V is ready to launch. They're just waiting on the final sculpt. They want to receive all the sculpts and the approvals from Capcom before launching, so there will be no surprises. Thankfully, built-in padding in the timeline allows for variances like this without the need for a delay yet. Once the sculpts are received, they'll post another update with the pledge manager information. Shipping for Atmosfear is almost complete. If you've not received your game, message them by June 4th. Really guys, deadlines on normal customer service? That's a tad low, even for the gatekeeper. Sound the alarm. The zombies have escaped. Escape from Stalingrad Z is now shipping to backers. The French, Italian, and Spanish translations are complete, and German is underway and due by the end of June. They're also opening up the pre-project page for Project Reese, the next game in the series. A small update from Ancient Blood, the Order of Vampire Hunters, sees them making small but steady progress. 30% of the stories are now translated. German here again is taking the longest but catching up. They've been writing new path cards, which describe events that happen to players while traveling. They'll be in translation as soon as the stories are done. Finally, the rulebook will get its turn then. The Wave 2 production line for Marvel Zombies is shambling right along. They've received more white box copies and they're showing off many of the final minis sitting in their trays waiting to be fed. There's simply too many photos for me to show for how little news they provided, so you can take a look for yourself if the interest hits you. The pledge manager for Dungeons & Lasers World of Deus Lair has been delayed until Monday, May 29th. It'll go live on GameFound then. This update is showing off a few of the finished sculpts and some concept art from the bestiary. They're also opening the book on their next campaign, Dungeons & Lasers 6 Caves. This project is planned for Q4. Maybe if they get enough of those in fast enough, you won't notice the army of miniatures and terrain quickly taking over your house. Fear not, I've been there too. If you're into surveys, this update has one too. This time they're asking about the Deus Lair campaign. May was productive for the Nanolith crew. They've had to make some important revisions to the game that may push delivery back a few though. First up, they received the fully colored comic pages for the game, and they're looking great. The last encounter of Chapter 5 is complete, and so the encounter book and storybook is now done. They are in final proofing and getting ready for the final prototype print. They want each encounter to really have that wow effect when you open the page, and it's looking like they achieved that. Hope that the maps are easy to read while remaining thematic. Layout of the German rulebook is in progress, and the rulebook for the deluxe box is next. Layouts for the encounter and storybooks are going well, and they're expecting the German and English rulebooks to be done shortly. The card revisions that were necessary are going very well, and Amis is proven to be a super fast and professional addition to the team. Delivery time frame has shifted to allow them adequate time to get the remaining tasks to the expected quality level. They'll be pushing back file submission to July, meaning that delivery should happen around November or December. They still plan to attend BerlinCon and Spiel this year. They'd love to meet everyone, and hopefully you get a peek at the game. Sea of Legends has officially released the 2.0 version of their app for backers. There are likely still a few bugs to work out, but hopefully this offers a much more streamlined and enjoyable play experience. The pledge managers for Vengeance of Empires is open until June 1st. Pre-orders are still available until then as well. We got a great look at the production miniature samples, and they really outdid themselves on this one. All of these are just begging for paint. Now, they're just waiting on samples of all the remaining components for approval. They expect to get a bit quieter, but hopefully they'll keep us informed as production moves from start to finish. Dungeons of Doria has returned with an update on progress. Things are mostly normal, as they've been focused on finalizing everything for production. They're awaiting the white box sample with all the plastic parts like dice and standees in it. Then they'll be on to the final color proof before hitting the big red mass production button. The print and play is uploaded and ready to go for backers to enjoy. If you have some feedback to leave, you can leave it directly in the Google Drive PDFs. The boss monster deck is now ready and is included in the uploads. They created 13 boss monsters that you can randomly draw and included 3 cards that explain the rules for the random play mode. Also have blank cards in the print and play so you can create your own. The update gives a good changelog for the print and play if you're interested. And the pledge manager will officially be closing in mid-June, probably around the 16th. Community scenarios are being worked on and should be tested in June and released in July or August at the latest. The German translation is still being finalized and will be based on the print and play. It will hopefully be wrapped up in the next 2 weeks. Valor and Villainy Ludwig's Labyrinth is now shipping. QML has begun shipments for the US and should mostly be done by now. In Asia, VFI has shipping underway to the various regions. In the EU and UK, Spiral Galaxy has completed shipping for the most part. In Australia, packages are headed to backers now. If you happen to get a damaged mat, be sure and contact them. Some of them were not shipped properly and may be damaged. A game development update for Elden Ring is in. These updates have been a bit farther between, so it's nice to know that the wheels are still turning. The day and night cycle have been given a bit of an overhaul. The Guidance of Grace and Greater Will tokens are gone, replaced by a deck to represent the day-night cycle. Another deck, an event deck, has been added to the game. Sometimes a card may direct you to draw from the event deck. Events typically change the play area in some way. They may be short-lived or long-lasting effects. A new type of encounter has also been introduced, tentatively called ambushes. They're short-form attribute tests, a quick challenge that you might stumble across while exploring. Ambushes usually have a cost associated to complete them, and their cards display the reward available to the character. There are normally several ways to resolve an ambush, and you'll want to choose wisely based off your individual character. While this all might seem a departure from the source video game, I think this will start to lend some more depth to the exploration that was lacking from the get-go. I'm excited to see more of what the future holds for the game, and hopefully they'll have some shiny pictures to go with their next update. The end of discounts has been slightly delayed for Harakiri Blades of Honor. Discounts now end on June 9th. Make sure that you get your late pledge in before the prices go up. No need to pay more than you have to, and I don't think this is one you're going to want to miss. Shipping prices are already set in the Pledge Manager and are pretty reasonable for the US at least. The Gaming Rules channel has posted a new video for Harakiri, and one quote really sticks out. Quote, "I prefer it to Oathsworn. That may shock a lot of people. Harakiri is better." End quote. That, my friends, is some high praise. Project status is looking good, and no new challenges seem to have popped up. Translations are in progress, scenario creation is close to wrapped, and editing and layout are being worked through. This update gives us a peek at some of the new art and layout for the game books. Oh, and they also gave us a peek at the Dark Shogun. This big guy is really living up to the hype. One more thing though. I got a package in the mail from Synergic Games with some sample components from the game, and you could expect to see an unboxing and discussion of everything in the box later this week if at all possible. I'm so excited to see what's inside. Pre-orders, late backs, shipping payments, whatever you want to call it, they end May 31st for Middara. This week's update is a deep dive into the vaults and all the wonderful tiles and minis contained within. These minis are looking better and better, and the new tiles should make for interesting adventures. The deep vaults of Elania hold some of your most fearsome foes and some of the best hidden secrets in the kingdom. There's so much great story text in the update. I encourage you all to check it out for yourselves. League of Dungeoneers is finally out of the manufacturer's hands. All games are on the water or on their way to their backers' hands. In the US, they're almost all out the door. In the UK, they should be leaving the warehouse and on to backers soon. In the EU and Canada, packages are on the water. In Australia, they're in port, and in China, they're on their way to the warehouses for distribution. If you're in the US and you don't have your game by early next week, make sure and contact them. I'm still waiting on mine, but hopefully not too many others are. I'm almost always last to get the good stuff. The dream is waning for Etherfields as they send out their final update. Almost all backers have their games in hand now, and it's been a long road, but they're finally reaching the end. Backers waiting for the second wave of painted minis are still waiting, and they should be out in Q3 of 2023. Some backers in Poland may still be waiting, but nearly all of their packages are with their backers. If you have any customer support concerns, please make sure and submit a ticket. A quick update from Unsettled warns that the next update will announce the imminent closure of the Pledge Manager. They also gave us some sneaky peeky images that are a tidbit spoilery. Print and play files are ready for delivery for Heroes of the Shire backers. They're currently awaiting the physical master copy of the game to give production a go, and sadly, they'll have to attend UKGE without this copy in tow. After the master copy is approved, it'll be 4 to 6 weeks to print the game. Shipping will take another 4 to 6 weeks, so delivery estimates have changed a bit. They'll give firmer dates as soon as the games are on the water. They've also made the decision not to send the game to retail until 2024. Any retailers that did not back during the campaign will have to wait. Shipping and fulfillment for Isofarian Guard is almost complete in most regions. In the EU and UK, they should wrap in the next few weeks. VFI has provided a handy chart with the hub arrival dates for the Asian region. Isofarian Guard is sold out worldwide. This game has been getting great praise from every corner of the hobby, and they absolutely deserve it. There'll be some big announcements coming in June, so I'll be keeping my ear to the ground and let you know what we find out. Wow, that was a lot. This has been a crazy month, both for the channel and the hobby in general. Thank you to everyone for your well wishes. I'm 90% better and feeling like myself again, and I'm doing everything I can to pull off the next 2 weeks of videos without a hitch. I'm not kidding when I say there's a lot coming. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing and hitting that bell. We'd love to have you as a part of our growing community. Thank you to everyone watching, commenting, and supporting the channel on Patreon. Have a great week and don't let the FOMO bite.